Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Ali, CEO and co-founder of Knowde, the leading digital customer experience platform for ingredients and chemicals. Our goal with this series is to share the perspectives you need to navigate the changing digital landscape in our industry. We have another amazing guest today, so let's just jump right in. I'm thrilled to welcome Phil McDivitt. Phil is the president and CEO of Ascend Performance Materials. Based in Houston, Texas, but with offices all around the world, Ascend is a global, fully integrated material solutions provider for everyday essentials. Ascend provides the building blocks for products used in everyday applications, from apparel to airbags, cable ties to circuit boards, carpets to car parts. I've gotten to know Phil pretty well over the past few months. He's an amazing person, and he's at the forefront of thinking differently in our industry. Phil, thank you so much for taking your valuable time and spending it with us today. So much appreciated. Is there anything you want to share about yourself or Ascend before we jump right in?
No, I mean, I think you actually did a fantastic job of describing Ascend. We are global. We've been going through a transition. We were only a North American producer for most of the history of the company, and actually during COVID made a number of acquisitions that really expanded our footprint globally. And I think it actually ties into some of the work that you do at Knowde in terms of really providing a platform that works for everyone all around the world. So we're excited to chat with you today.
Great. Thank you, Phil. Let's jump right into our first question. So, Phil, we asked the same question of every guest. We're seeing more and more suppliers increase investments in their digital capabilities, especially related to customer-facing initiatives. What is the biggest opportunity you see for Ascend when it comes to customer-facing digital projects? So, previous guests have talked about digitizing the product catalogs, just being able to touch a lot more customers, being able to engage a lot more customers than typical channels or sales teams allow, or even being able to lower the cost to be able to manage customers. How do you think about it?
So, it's the process. The question is always, how can you speed up or make the process more efficient? If you look at most of our solutions, whether there are specialty material applications, engineered material applications, or even our sustainable specialty chemical applications, we're always looking for ways to try to increase the hit rate and increase the speed with regards to customer engagement. And certainly, having a good digital interface at the front end of the process helps to both increase the number of potential opportunities you have come into the funnel, but then also provide much more, I would say, relevant information and timely information for potential customers. In our businesses that are really highly specified, there is still a lot of work to be done with customers in order to finally get engineered into an application. But what having a good digital interface up front does is really speed the initial phases of that project, and also eliminate some of the misses that invariably come in the process because the material isn't a good fit. So having a good digital interface to really kind of speed up and create more efficiency in that process, I think, is critical.
Yep, I totally agree. I may be oversharing a little bit here, but I remember when I was in your office in Houston, it was probably a year or two ago, and you explicitly said, look, we've got to get in front of more customers early in their buying journey. And it's not possible to go quadruple the size of the sales team. So how do we get in front of more specifiers when they're looking for these sort of materials, so that we can increase our top of funnel?
And that's correct. And in fact, it's actually also the reverse too. If you remember, in that same meeting, I brought in one of our procurement managers,
Right.
because just in the same way that our customers are looking for materials, we are also looking for materials, as we are with our technology organization, looking to provide additional functionality in materials. So we actually see this, it's kind of a 360, both. So obviously both on the customer facing side, but then also on the procurement side. So for us, it's really about being efficient on both steps, because ultimately, if we can identify sources and materials in, those are the things that ultimately then can flow through into products that also provide differentiation and value for our customers.
Totally. I think you probably already answered the second question, but I'll get you to go a little bit deeper on it, which is that we've heard from a lot of suppliers that the expectations of their customers are changing. And what trends are you seeing at Ascend, and how does your digital strategy help you meet these expectations? I got a feeling you're going to start talking about responsiveness.
Speed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, the product development cycle, continues to shrink. And, so you need to, there's a couple things that have to happen. You need to have better communication channels, which also then means you need to have more of the relevant information resident that a customer or an existing, a potential new customer, but also an existing partner, needs. And so that's having a digital platform to be able to do that and really facilitate customers being able to dial in. They can't dial in perfectly, but they can increase the speed and efficiency on their side, is critical. I think the other piece is I'll say increasing a customer's understanding of your capability. So one of the ways customers understand your capabilities actually by looking at your product breadth and looking at the different functional areas that you go into. So having a digital platform that allows you to display that is also important, because what we see, and by the way, I've seen this for a long time, is ultimately customers are making an investment of their time, and they're not going to invest their time with 6 people in order to develop something. They're going to invest their time, with maybe 2 people. So we always want to be one of the 2 people in that conversation, and certainly having a strong digital platform helps us to be able to do that.
I can't agree more. I hear from so many suppliers that, they'll say things like, we are X company being, very large and well regarded. And, customers just know to come to us. And I'm like, well, I don't think the world works that way anymore. I mean, your catalogs are so large. How does a customer even know what you sell if you don't expose the catalog the right way and let them, like you said, start to at least narrow it down a little bit and see if, you could possibly be a solution to their problem. And if you're not giving customers that sort of expectation, then you may not have a seat at the table when they're down to 2 choices.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because with the explosion of information and the capability to get your hands on more information, it actually in some ways makes it tougher for customers to pick the right suppliers, but also ultimately companies like ours to make sure that we're investing time also with the right customers, because ultimately these activities do transition into people's time, and you want to make sure that you're still investing that time in the best and most efficient and effective way, and having a better window on both sides, I think invariably helps you to find better matches where the companies can align and really drive innovation more quickly and get to product solutions more quickly, which is ultimately what we see happening fundamentally in the world around us. That need, the speed need.
Yeah, I mean, chemicals, ingredients, probably one of the few remaining industries in the world that hasn't fully gone online, or at least, 60-70% of the buying journey going online. And, a lot of times because of the fear of the unknown, people get a little anxious and what does this mean? And, there was comfort in kind of being opaque. And the world is changing, and we spend so much more time with customers now where it's like, no, we have to do these sort of things, or our customers aren't going to consider us anymore. So again, I can't agree with you more. Okay, third question, and this is actually my favorite one, especially given everything that's happening around us right now. So as you're aware, 2023 is not like 2021. There are some market headwinds, and we spend a lot of time in all four corners of this industry, and every supplier to a man is talking about these headwinds. I mean, you can't get away from it. What advice would you give leaders as they're attempting to balance these short-term challenges with long-term investments in things like digital?
Well, look, at least with regards to Ascend, do we have an urgency around cost? Absolutely. I think every company in our space has that same urgency. At the same time, you have to look through to the other side, right? So in fact, we had this discussion even this morning, in my morning meeting, is what do you want to look like? What company do you want to be? Things will improve. I think there's uncertainty around the timing, but we know ultimately things will improve. What kind of company do you want to be? How do you want to look on the other side? As I mentioned, during COVID, we made a number of acquisitions during COVID. I mean, acquired businesses and facilities that we had never seen, only a local team had seen. And that put us in a very different position in 2021, like you mentioned, and is a strong foundation for us going forward. This is another opportunity to do that. And, so in terms of digital, the question is, what kind of company do you want to be in terms of digital, on the other side of this, because invariably we'll be there. And, so I think it's prudent on all of us to be ready and be prepared for when the situation does improve.
Yep, totally agree. I mean, we've all been through these cycles before. They come and they go. It is what it is. Look, so thank you for the insights. Everyone loves these, short, informal conversations with folks like you that are helping shape our industry. Thank you for everything you do and Ascend does. I'm really looking forward to sharing this with people. I can already tell, just given how you answered a lot of these questions, that this is going to get a lot of views, a lot of views. So thanks again for everything. Good to see you, Phil.
All righty. Thank you. Take care.